Under the auspices of a cooking demonstration, we've brought in Scott Eric from Giovanna's in Tampa, which is an outstanding Italian restaurant. I speak from experience. But the reason we wanted to bring Scott in is to talk about his career as an Italian soap opera star. But first of all, now we got to do some cooking here first, because we're going to show you what he made and everything. Some terrific salads, I'm sure. What are you going to make?
Well, what we're going to do, because it's summer, pasta salad. Everyone is concerned about their weight and health.
Yeah.
So we're going to put together, what I'm going to make for you today is a dressing.
Oh, good.
A non-fat, low-cal, no-fat dressing, which can be put over several different types of pastas and dishes.
Take it away, then.
Okay.
Because I got a lot of questions I want to ask you about how you became an Italian. I mean, you don't look Italian.
Full-blooded Italian.
Oh, okay. Are you really Italian?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, I guess that helps.
Okay, we're going to put in some onion.
Do you speak Italian?
Parlo italiano, tutto.
Oh, okay. You do speak a little, man.
Vuoi parlare con me?
You betcha.
Okay, we put in some green pepper. This is the dressing. Everything that is going in here is fresh. Okay. A little bit of carrots.
Oh, I love carrots.
Have a carrot.
No, thank you. It's all right. I had a bunch of them this morning. I don't want to overdo it, you know.
I know that.
Had them in my eggs.
Puree it up a little bit. We're going to put in some cucumbers.
Ooh, now you're talking. This looks great.
Cucumbers gives it a little bit of moisture because they're filled with water. Basically, with this recipe, you can make it and you can put it in a jar and keep it at home and use it whenever you want.
Does it get all of its liquid from the cucumbers?
Everything that I put in here. No, I'm going to put in some olive oil and the tomato, the juice of the tomato.
Oh, that sounds... Yeah, I guess you have to have some olive oil or something. Now, you were born and reared in this country. You weren't from Italy. I want to know how you ended up in Italy in a soap opera while you're...
I was born in North Hollywood, California.
Okay. So you were an actor before you went over there?
Yeah. Actor, model, per se. Everything. I've done everything.
Well,
I'd say it took me 33 tries with an agency before I got picked up.
And then you landed a job in Italy.
Yeah, I've lived in New York, Atlanta, Washington, and then I went to Los Angeles for an audition, and I went into a wrong room.
And everybody was talking funny.
And I went into the wrong room. They sat me down, and I got going with the audition, sat there, left, signed in just like normal, called my agent. He's yelling at me, why didn't you go to where you were supposed to go? And these people had called him up the next day, and about 2 weeks later, I was on a plane to Rome.
Oh, that's great. I'll tell you what, while he's grinding that, we'll take a break, and we'll be right back and learn more about what it's like to be in an Italian soap opera when Tampa Bay's only noon news hour and loudest continues. Scott Eric is here from Giovanna's, which is on West Shore Boulevard in Tampa, and he's been showing us how to make a salad. We went on ahead and finish it up. You put in what else?
What I put in is olive oil, some red wine vinegar, some non-fat yogurt, a little bit of basil, a little bit of oregano, and some spices with some black pepper and the fresh tomato, and it all...
And let's see.
Actually, you taste it, you can drink it.
It's terrific because it's got so many vegetables and things in it. You can drink it just like a summer drink, except for that olive oil. Maybe you ought to go lighter on the oil. And then it goes on to a couple of different salads here, which you can find at Giovanna's. Now I want to hear what it's like for a guy who didn't speak Italian a lot before you went over there,
No,
right?
not at all.
How
From
in
the
the
day
world,
I got off the plane, nothing.
when you go into a typical situation like a soap opera's done, I guess, in New York or Hollywood, except they're all speaking in Italian, how did you act out your part?
Well, what we were done was, we shot 7 days, depending on what character parts people were playing your days off, and they shot on location mostly, which was even more difficult. It was a good 15-hour day for everyone.
But how did you talk if you didn't speak Italian?
What happened was we were with the camera. I had a dialogue coach when I first got there. When I first got there, my part wasn't that big.
Yeah.
I just had to say a few words. But what they would do, the dialogue coach would be standing there. They would be everybody would be working around me because at that point I didn't know what was going on.
The only guy.
They would say phonetically what I'm supposed to say, and someone would try and explain to me what it is. Then right at that moment, 3, 2, 1, they would turn and I would say it to the camera.
So you get a few words phonetically and then turn
and that basically I did that for 18 months and that's how I learned how to speak Italian. I used to go around And after the show, with friends or whatever, and the only way I could speak Italian is to say the words that I learned that afternoon. So I was actually speaking to people saying phrases from the show all day long.
Now, before we get out of here, you were on that, what, 3, 4 years?
4.5 years.
4.5 years. How did they write you out of the show?
I changed managers, who was a friend of mine at that point, was a friend. And we asked for a little bit more money because my contract was coming up. I got my script. 2 days later, I was murdered.
2 days later, you were murdered.
Shot.
Boy, that's the way they do it in Italy. They don't mess around.
What they did was, it was the end of my part, and we were going to blow up our set, which was a computer room, because I played a CIA spy. And what they did was put blood packets all over me.
Yeah.
Because I was going to be machine gunned. They put them on the front and the back. And what they do is synchronize it with the machine gun, and the blood packets are put through a battery pack.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they're shooting me. I have to jerk and explode, and they explode all over you. And it took about 7 times before I died, and then I died.
That's a good American way to do it. Well, I tell you, do we have time to throw this recipe up here? The best thing to do is go to Giovanna's and ask them about it. I'll tell you what, give us a call and we'll tell you how you can get it or how to get to Giovanna's. Scott, thanks a million for coming down here.
Okay.
It's easier to get off this show than being murdered, believe me. And we'll be back in a moment with an update from the Channel 8 newsroom as Tampa Bay's only noon news hour continues. By the way, they have great pastas and the whole works.